Hi, it's time once again to take a look at what I colored in the month of January 2019, and I participated in a few color alongs this month. And to start, I did 3 colorings for the It's All About Jade Summer color along, hosted by Anne from A Colorful Life, Dollar Diva 99, Chats and Cats with Michelle, uh, 2 others, Color with Donna and Tia's Coloring Chronicles. Wow, I remembered them. Anyway, I'll start with Hermes. Now, the reason I decided to start this year off with this coloring of this god is because he's a messenger god and one of healing, as you can see by his medical insignia right here. I had surgery recently, and I have 2 more surgeries coming up, and I thought, well, a healing god would be great to start off the year with. So, on him, I used Arteza pencils and Arteza watercolors and Crayola watercolors, metallic markers, glitter glue, and Crayola super tips. Let's see if you can get some of that glittery shine there. I also used gel pens on his little wings there, on his medical insignia, and the wings on his helmet, and some on the mountains too. That was glitter glue. I had a dream one time about that god too, and I looked through my dream journals, because they date back to the early 2000s, and I could not find it, and I was disappointed because I was going to share it here tonight, but I could not find that. But I did have a dream about him one time, years and years ago. Well, I'm still trying to see if I can find it. Also, for the same color along, I did one in Norse mythology, and this is Heimdall, and on him I used Crayola Super Tips, Sevo Vivid pencils, Pelikan pencils, gel pens, and some Art and Fly skin tone markers. The background was done with Reeves watercolor pencils. And for the third entry into the color along, I did one in Beautiful Dresses. And she was done with Sevo Vivid pencils, Arteza pencils, and Crayola markers. And that was mostly for highlights. I also did a couple for John's color along at the Bibliophile Colorist. His was Winter Wonderland. And the first one was this one from Winter Scenes by Marty Noble. And I used Prismacolor Scholars. and some Staedtler pencils. Yeah, see if I can get in frame here. There we go. It took a few nights because just shading the snow took a while. I also did one for the same color along in Game of Thrones. And this one illustrated by Yvonne Gilbert. This is the Sansa page. See if I can get it in full frame here. There we go. And on her I used the Scholar pencils, Crayola markers, Pelikan pencils. That was mostly for the brickwork. Sevo Vivid, that was for her robe and dress. And Tanmet gel pens. So a lot of the finer details, like on the dire wolf and the fur around her collar, was done with Pelikan pencils as well, because they're a thinner core pencil and easier to do hair with. And the gel pen for the designs in her robe and dress. And the sky was done with the Scholars. And her skin was done with art and fly markers. Next, I did one in World of Flowers, and I did the title page. And I used almost all my pencil sets for this one, just for something fun and different to do. And for the title itself, I used Sharpie and Bic fine liners. And a little bit of shading in the background done with Arteza, I think it was the Outer Space, I think it's called, or Space Gray. Did one in A Court of Thorns and Roses. There we go. And for this one I used Crayola and Arteza watercolors, Arteza pencils, and Crayola Super Tips. And a little bit of gel pen too. I did one in Fantastic Beasts. I saw Color and Chat with Sammy do a flip through of the latest Fantastic Beasts coloring book, and it inspired me to dig out one of my old books and color a page in that. There we go. And on this one, I used mostly Arteza pencils and some Scholar pencils and Premier Prismacolor Premier on their skin. And some super tips on his vest and his trousers. And a little bit of gel pen. For the brickwork in the background, I used Arteza. And finally, I did one in Jazz Age Fashions by Mingju Sun. There we go. Now, this one, I used acrylic paint for the background. That was my first time using acrylic paint in a coloring book. I was inspired by watching John at the Bibliophile Colorist. He's done some great background work with acrylic paints, and I was inspired by that and thought I'd try it. So as I was coloring this picture, I was trying to think about what I could do for the background, and then I went to Walmart and I said, well, maybe I'll get a couple of paints. So I got a couple of different color blues, and this one has a glossy finish to it. And the rest of the picture was done mostly in Staedtler pencils and a little bit of marker and shading on her skin and some metallic markers on her jewelry and Sharpie fine liners on the details of her dress. And the butterflies were done with Staedtler pencils. And that's it. That's what I colored for the month of January 2019. And I also want to thank all you new subscribers to my channel. I appreciate you watching my videos for what little I make. All right, well, thanks again, and thank you for watching.